Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the Jonesboro Rotary today.
Good afternoon.
Hey, hey, hey. First of the month. We got about 4 days to 5 days to get out and see what happens on November the 8th. And Mitch, this side of the room decided today would do the invocation for us today.
All right.
Kenny?
And I'm going to do it off the card here. Open our eyes that we may see. Open our ears that we may hear. Touch our hearts that we may love. Clear our minds that we may think. Strengthen our hands that we may work. Amen.
Thank you. Kenny? Now, Kenny, is there anything you'd like to tell us today?
Oh, not much.
Not much.
No, I'm a pretty happy camper.
So if
I'm a pretty happy camper.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know this
Pass it
side
on
of
to me.
the room is not nearly as
Not
happy.
as happy, but
Inside on there, not as happy as Ken.
I hate that you're not feeling well, but I also love it at the same time. So.
Well, there were some good ball games, so all of them were. Reminder that the 17th, our meeting before Thanksgiving, is our quarterly food drive. Bring in some canned goods for that on the 17th. December the 1st, we are going to have a kind of like a club assembly. We're going to have a big meeting on December the 1st. Plus, that's a big day that we're going to distribute pots of gold tickets. So hopefully everybody will be there for sure that day. We got lots of things to discuss to get this thing rolling and going in the right direction. So kind of keep that on your agenda on the 1st of December. The 17th is also the foundation banquet in Greensboro. I think Larry and I will be attending that. Anybody else wants to go, you're more than welcome. It's the foundation's 100th anniversary. They'll be celebrating that, if I'm not mistaken, that day also. Let me see how much food Van has in his mouth. Got him right in the middle. Sorry.
Thank you, President David.
You're welcome.
Today we have a couple of guests. Let us recognize Oscar Roberto, guest of the club, and Mr. Jerry Sitt. Let's give him a big round of applause. Okay, Mr. Tony Lett, you have an announcement today.
I have an announcement. No, I put my name down as a guest. I'll put it
No.
on the wrong list.
You don't have anything.
I'm here, that's my announcement. Thank you
Well, let's-
for allowing me to.
Okay, let me switch that around here. I'm kind of confused, I'm getting kind of feeble. Let's recognize Tony Lett, visitor from the Sanford Club. Let's do that. And now, I'm going to switch down into announcements. John, you have an announcement today.
I do, Van. I want to announce that Tony Lett is here from the Sanford Club. Got to pick on Tony if I can here. All right, now I've got an announcement for, it's that time of year. It's November. So we need to start passing around the sign-up sheet with bell ringing for Salvation Army. We do a fantastic job every year with this, have an awful lot of fun. I don't think I need to sell it on you, but we're going to do it on Tuesday, December 6th and Wednesday, December 7th. Very, very happy that we're also going to be partnering with the Lee County Interact Club. They're going to be taking the last 3 slots, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8 for both days. And they're happy to do so. They had a blast last year when they did this. So I'm going to pass this around. You know the deal. Put your name on there. Of course, we're doing this in conjunction with Ted Lanier, who is a Sanford Rotarian.
All of the shows that they do at Temple. I always felt very, very lucky to have such top quality entertainment right here in our own community. I also want to say thank you so much for all the work that you do. You folks are out walking the walk in the community. I was here again for 4 years and got to see all the great work that Rotary does, and that now, of course, that you continue to do. I want to thank you very much for that. One of the reasons I really wanted to speak with you today, and Mitch Albom, when he goes out and speaks to people, he never speaks from notes, so I'm going to try to speak from the heart as well and hope to not ramble too much. But one of the reasons I wanted to speak to you today is I really believe this show, Tuesdays with Maury, has a lot to do with your mission as well, and so I thought it would be a good show not only for you to see, but also for you to try to promote, talk up, tell your friends, your family members, your people at work, your people at church, any folks that you run across. I really feel like this show is spreading the same kind of message that Rotary does, and you can tell me if you agree after this talk. This little book that Mitch Albom wrote, Mitch Albom, of course, is a real person. He wrote this book about his professor, who happened to be dying of ALS. Now, what happened was the story sounds like, oh gosh, this is going to be really sad. This is actually one of the most uplifting stories that I've ever heard in my life. I have had the absolute pleasure of playing some of the most iconic roles in literature. I've played William Shakespeare, I've played John Wilkes Booth, I've played Long John Silver, and George from Mice and Men, and many, many, many others. I consider the role of Mitch Albom the role of my career. And I don't say that because most people have seen it or it's made me famous or anything like that, but this is the role that's changed my life more than any other show that I have ever done, and I've done over 200 shows now. And so that's why I wanted to talk to you about it, and that wouldn't be, I wouldn't feel that way if it was just a wheat fest and you had to come with a lot of tissues and all of that. This show is extremely uplifting. It's extremely, the messages that it teaches are ones that we can all benefit from learning and that we should all be joyful about. So anyway, going back to the story, for those of you who are not familiar with it, Mitch Albom wrote this little book and they printed 20,000 copies of it. Nobody thought it would do anything. Mitch threw a whole bunch of copies in the back of his car and figured they'd be in his trunk for the rest of his life. And he passed them out to friends and gave it out to here, and they passed it along to other people, and it mushroomed and mushroomed. This became the #1 memoir of all time. There are 14 million copies of this book in print, and it has been translated into 45 different languages. So when I say this is a story that's affected a lot of people, I ain't kidding. It's really, really something that's now a worldwide phenomenon. Since then, Mitch Albom, who was just a sports writer for a long time, now has had subsequently 6 #1 best-selling books. So it really not only changed his life in that way, but it actually changed his life in even more profound ways than just success. Mitch Albom was just a punk kid going to Brandeis University, kind of lost, didn't know what he wanted to do. And he was taken under the wing of his professor, sociology professor, Maury Schwartz. The two of them were super tight while he was in college. And when he graduated from college, his professor said, "You gotta promise me you'll stay in touch." He said, "Of course, we're so close. Of course I'll stay in touch." He didn't stay in touch. He went on and he went out and became an extremely successful sports writer and sportscaster. Mitch Albom won the AP Sports Writer of the Year 12 times. That's the National Sports Writer of the Year. He also had the radio show that he does every week. He was on television, on ESPN every week. And so he became so career-oriented that he just sort of forgot about everything else. Really, everything else in his life took a backseat to his furthering his own career. 16 years later, he's flipping through the channels late at night, and he, lo and behold, sees Nightline. Nightline is on, and Ted Koppel is talking to none other than Maury Schwartz, his 78-year-old professor who has now contracted Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. For those of you who remember the Ice Bucket Challenge or all that, or know that Larry Stogner, the great newscaster too, and of course the disease that took Lou Gehrig's life. And Maury's on television. Now Maury, the first time that Mitch Albom ever went and talked to Maury Schwartz was he went through his very first class that he'd signed up for. He looked around, he came into class, there were only 9 students in the room. And he almost dropped the class because he was like, if I cut class, I'll know I'm not there. That's not good. I'm dropping this class right away. But Maury was able to talk him out of it, and then Mitch took every class he ever taught for the rest of the 4 years that he was there. But this professor was teaching small classes at Brandeis University and 9 people, and all of a sudden he's on Nightline talking about life and death. And Mitch was just flabbergasted. So he said, I got to pay my last respects. So he gave Maury a call and said, you know, I'd like to come see you one time. So he flies over to Massachusetts and goes and visits him. That's it. He figures it's all over. Now, here's what happened with Maury. Maury was so positive about life, he didn't want to teach people necessarily how to die. He wanted to teach people how to live their life so that when they pass on, they're still living inside the hearts of people that they touched personally. And so everyone that ever came to see Maury was always like, I'm talking to somebody who's on his, you know, on his final journey. I need to cheer him up. I need to not be morose. I need to help him in some way. Every one of those people that came out of the room after seeing Maury was always like, oh, I'm crying because I was thinking about my divorce and my life and my problems and all of that stuff, because Maury gave to those people. And Mitch could never understand this. Mitch was always like, you've received thousands of letters from people you've never met, and you answer every one, even though you can't write. He would have to dictate all these letters. Everyone that comes to see you, you make them feel better, and they're the ones that are supposed to make you feel better. Why don't you be a little selfish for a minute and say, hey, you know, let's not talk about your problems, let's talk about me. Maury looked at him like he was from outer space, and he said, why would I do that, Mitch? Taking makes me feel like I'm dying. Giving is what makes me feel like I'm living. And that was a profound thing that Mitch, you know, never forgot. And it changed Mitch Albom's life completely. Mitch Albom now, instead of being this hard-driven, he's just as driven as he always was, but he's driven in a completely different way. He's driven to service, simply the way that you folks are. Mitch Albom now, that I know of, has 8 different charities that he has founded himself. 6 of those charities are in Detroit, Michigan. He has homeless shelters. He has a free clinic for homeless women to be able to bring their children, because a lot of times if you're homeless and you take your child in, then Child Protective Services can take your children away. They ask no questions of these women. They treat the children, and not only that, but they treat the mothers as well for free. In addition, I just heard about the fellow who's going to Haiti. Mitch Albom has an orphanage that he founded in Haiti, which not only does he sponsor, but he spends 4 days a month out of his busy schedule, hands-on with the kids from dawn till dusk, helping out at the orphanage. He also has an orphanage in the Philippines as well. Because of his mentor teaching him that life is not about what you get, but it's about what you give. And so that message is just such a positive thing that this is what we're trying to share about the show to people, to let them know, okay, you might want to bring a Kleenex, yes, there might be a sniffle moment here and there. But Maury was so positive that this show has many, many more laughs and many, many more moments of real joy than it does have of moments of sadness. Like I said, this show has really changed my life. We did this show first at Justice Theater Project with a brilliant actor named John Honeycutt. John is joined us down here in Sanford for the show as well, and we're so lucky to have him. John is never available in the Triangle area because he's always doing some show or another. He's one of the most busy actors in the entire Raleigh area. And he has come down. This is the 3rd time that he's gotten to play Maury, and he tells me again that he's learned every time he's played it again, he's learned a new lesson about life, a new lesson about love, a new lesson about filling your heart and filling the hearts of others, new lessons about how to live your life instead of worrying about how many days you have left. one of the things that Maury liked to say was, we're all going to die, but no one wants to think about it. Well, that's true. Of course we don't want to think about it. And we don't necessarily need to, because I think that Maury's way of thinking was, if you live your life the way he does, with people as your number one priority, with giving of yourself, giving of your heart, giving to their souls, and when you pass on to wherever you're going, you're not really gone. You really live inside of the hearts of all those people that you touched. And if you're looking for immortality, that's the best way to get it. So again, that's a really a powerful message that you learn. Now, again, Mitch Albom goes around the world speaking on not only this subject, but all the other subjects that are near and dear to his heart. So it's a pleasure for me to be able to go around and try to talk up not only this book, this show. I talk about how this has affected the lives of people. Let's talk about some other people that whose life this has affected. Oprah Winfrey heard this story, and she, on her own network, put up all the money to have a television movie made. It was the last television movie ever. It was the last movie ever starring Jack Lemmon. Jack Lemmon played Maury, and Hank Azaria played Mitch. Both Jack Lemmon and Hank Azaria won Emmy Awards for their performances in this particular play, in this particular story. So again, this is not just something that we're saying, oh yes, we like this little play and everything like this. This is really something that has affected people all around the world, including some of the most famous people that there are around the world, so including Oprah Winfrey. So we hope that you will not only come and see our show, which runs today. I'm going to be running out of here and running right over and jumping into costume and performing at 2 o'clock today. We also have performances tomorrow at 2 p.m. and at 8 p.m. Then at Saturday, we'll also be performing at 8 p.m. And we have our final performance this Sunday at 2 p.m. So what we're going to ask you to do, hopefully we'd love to see you there. I know Yvonne. Yvonne's one of my favorite people from when I was here back in 2001 to 2005. But we also hope that you will spread the word that this is a great show if you want to learn what giving is about and what you folks are doing with your work in Rotary and in your lives. To please come out and join us for a show that I think will not only make you laugh and possibly make you have a small little tear, but also will make you think. We're coming up on the holiday season where we're talking about, it's better to give than receive. If there's a message, a simple way to say the message of this particular story, that's it. So this is a great way. A lot of the shows at the Temple, of course, are feel-good shows. We just had Anything Goes. We got Christmas Carol coming up there next. It's going to be a phenomenal performance with a cast of over 60, so it's going to be the biggest production of Christmas Carol ever done at the Temple. These shows are great to spread those kind of things, but I think this show is perfect for this season to get you in the mood for the holiday spirit, the spirit of giving, and the spirit of having a wonderful life, as they say. I'd like to take 1 or 2 minutes in case there's folks who have any questions or comments to round it out, and then I know your meeting's concluded. Yes, sir.
Jerry, I want to brag on it. David and I saw the performance a couple Fridays ago. Yvonne was kind enough to provide us with tickets. Dave and I both truly enjoyed it. We came out, we were like, wow, that was wonderful. You guys rock. Wonderful performance. Tuesdays with Maury. My father-in-law 2 months ago had a stroke. I started Wednesdays with Wayne. That's his name. We're just checking in on him. How you doing? What's going on? I see your tribe lost. But yeah, so I started Wednesdays with Wayne. I'm bragging on that. So good job. Good job, Jerry. It was wonderful.
Somebody asked me recently, well, how do you get up? Is this show hard to do? Is it tough for you? Is it tough on your heart? And of course it is, because I remember somebody asked me, do you really cry every performance? I'm not a big crier in real life, although since I became a father, I cried a heck of a lot more than I have to say. Now that I'm a grandpa too, and now I'm really doing. But I was like, sure, I absolutely do. And is that hard? It's like, well, it's hard not to, and when you're performing like that, and if you actually believe what's going on, which I'm not crazy, but when I'm in the moment, I certainly believe all those things, and so it's tough to say goodbye to Maury every day, but about 3/4 of the tears that come out of my eyes in that show, again, this is just a very brief part of the show, the rest of the show is very uplifting and happy. They're really tears of joy, because they're the tears that actually sneak out of my eyes by accident when I'm telling people about what the message that he has from Maury, and the fact that he didn't really lose Maury. Maury's still with him, and he talks to Maury every day, and he goes to Maury's cemetery. Maury makes him come to the cemetery with a picnic lunch and sit down and tell him all his problems. And actually, Maury is still giving to Mitch every day, because Maury's listening to everything that Mitch says, and to watching everything that he does. And Mitch has spent his life trying to make Maury proud. So it's amazing. Any other questions or comments?
Well, not a question, but I've got a testimonial too. I was very apprehensive about going to the play, not having read the book or seen the movie, but I knew the subject matter. And I've got to say, those two guys really do rock. And it was one of the best plays that I've seen at Temple.
That's an honor.
And I really think that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. We hope we see each and every one of you there. We hope that you bring legions of people. We want to spread the not only the word of supporting the temple, but the message of this play shares with everyone. So drag everyone along. Some people may be again a little reluctant to come because of it's going to be sad. Please, I believe that you'll have the same reaction to these gentlemen of the joy of this particular story. Thank you so much for having me today, and thank you for all you do here in the community.
Thanks, Sherry. That was good. I read the book years ago. Loved the book, and I'm sure you would think going to a theater and seeing a 2-person performance would just be boring as hell. But I'm gonna tell you something. It's fabulous. It really is. I am amazed at the talent that you guys have, and every time I go to a play there, I just get more and more amazed at that. And thank you for sharing your talent with us.
All right.
Yeah.
Today we've got $104.
Woo!
Somebody's getting a big $52 today. So thank you everybody for their contributions. Really, it means a lot. I have my lovely Vanna White.
Want me to tell you what number?
4783.
Hey.
He's a winner! He's a winner!
I need to go buy lotto or something.
Yeah, you really
Get that 20 off the top. I know.
Now you can just pay that $20 forward for your dad.
No, put it on his bill.
Okay.
Put it on his bill.
Just thinking,
Thank
job,
you.
Cam. Way to go.
Hey, thank you.
What a great day.
Let's see here. Jerry, thank you again for the program today. Chris, thanks for bringing. Great program. Mr. Clapp, thanks for being with us today. Oscar, thanks for coming. There's one thing that I failed to mention to you guys, and you can give me your answer next week when you get back here. December 22nd. Do you want to meet or not? Think about it. We're not going to meet the 29th, but think about it. Let me know next week. And so, with that said, Candy, you got a job.
You have to sing it, Cam.
Right.
How do I feel like
That's like a 7-inning stretch.
I was melting that out last night. All right. The 4 weight tests are the things we think, say, or do. First is
Is the truth.